The voice on the other end of the bellowed with the sharp precision of an army officer. Your solutions, your recommendations are not workable. They are band-aid. They are just a short-term fix. I tried to calm him down, but his voice was impatient. The problem is at the grassroots level. Fix the problem at the grassroots level. He was not tolerating me. He's my friend. But this phone call, he didn't greet me. He didn't say Dr. Brown. He was upset at the 3 recommendations that I made on Tuesday, which he saw as short-term fix. I decided then that I will need to go and look at the grassroots issue. And as Solomon said, there is nothing new under the sun, so I started to look back at some of the videos that I have made in where I have made numerous suggestions and have passed forth numerous ideas to Cricket West Indies. But as if it's a miracle, it fell right in my lap. And I realized that the issue that Cricket West Indies can copy a template that Jamaica has and solve the issue of the cricket at the grassroots level. Today's show is not about more test matches, more A-team matches, more regional 4-day cricket, or so on. Today's show is a look at the grassroots level. And I welcome your suggestions. I welcome your opinions. But we are going to the grassroots today. Stay on agenda. Stay on point. And let us look at the grassroots. And I think that there's a template in Jamaica that Cricket West Indies and the regional board may follow. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Please slash a like on the video and click on that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Today, I just want to shout out the official partner of the Cricket Forum. One Win is now the official partner of the Cricket Forum. Their links is in the video description. Please click on those links and in the video description and register today with One Win. As we speak this morning, there are hundreds of students all over the Caribbean desperately trying to get into a Jamaican high school. The reason for that is that they want to compete at boys and girls champs, the largest events of its kinds in the world, and it has formed the platform for numerous Jamaicans to excel in track and field. At the last World Championship, Jamaica stood 3rd on the medal table. And in large part, champs is to credit for it. And so this morning, I look at Jamaica track and field program and said, this is an ideal program for Cricket West Indies to copy. The template is already there. And so my suggestion for the grassroots level to fix our problem is that Cricket West Indies and the regional board should move to implement the system, the structure, and the organization dynamics of the Jamaica track and field program. Many of you who are not residing in Jamaica and don't understand the program think that champs is it. But I'd like to tell you this morning that in Jamaica, there's a basic school kindergarten championship. So they are introduced to track and field at the basic school level. And it goes on to the primary school championship, which is parallel to the prep school championship. And there are many regional championships building up to boys and girls champs. And today, Jamaica boasts the fastest woman alive and the fastest man alive. And our track and field program is the envy of the world. If we have such a program in Jamaica and such a template to be followed, why is it that Cricket West Indies cannot follow this template to get the cricket right? My suggestions, and this is coming directly from the track and field. A, just like the track and field did, we need to collaborate with training institutions like GC Foster College to develop cricket curriculum around of our PE teachers. Say what you want about Dave Cameron, but he did say that one of the issues that facing cricket in the region is the many female teachers who are not taking an interest, many female PE teachers who do not understand the game of cricket and takes no interest in cricket. GC Foster College of Physical Education of Sports in Jamaica trained most of these track and field coaches that are spread through the length and breadth of Jamaica in our primary schools, in our prep schools, and in our high schools. And at the peak of our track and fields program, like from mid-December up to champs, every week in Jamaica, there's a track and field meet, even more than one sometimes. And even after champs, there are several more meets. But the issue is that the track and field starts at the basic school, at the kindergarten. And so those coaches, they come from GC Foster College. So the first thing that Cricket West Indies need to do is to collaborate with training institutions like GC Foster College to train better coaches and implement their level 1 and level 2. So by the time that these PE teachers graduate, they will have at least have a level 2 in coaching. The next thing that they need to do, they need to appoint cricket officers. And these cricket officers should introduce cricket to kindergarten and basic school children. And secondly, they should coordinate and implement programs to sustain interest and competitiveness. While I do not have details of the rest of the Caribbean, how it is set up, in Jamaica, I think that we need 5 cricket officers for the kindergartens. Some would say, what about the primary? That may, as it is, but I'm going to the very grassroots. And just like how the track and field program starts at the grassroots, so I am encouraging that we start in the basic schools. 5 cricket officers, 1 for Portmore, 1 for Kingston and St. Andrew, 1 for the county of Surrey, 1 for the county of Middlesex, and 1 for the county of Cornwall. These cricket officers should at least have a level 2 and are graduates of a recognized institution, and their responsibility is to introduce and coordinate and implement programs to sustain the interests of cricket in our basic schools and kindergarten. Some would say, where will the money comes from? The pessimists. Cricket West Indies, the allocation that Cricket West Indies will be receiving from the ICC will double, at least double, as of next January. I am saying that $1 million out of that money each month. That's the extra money. That's not the money that they are getting already. $1 million out of the additional money that they'll be getting each month from the ICC should go towards this program. This program of touching the grassroots. Many times we have seen program and the money is caught up in administration. Most of the money is spent on administration instead of actually spending on the implementation of the program. Instead of actually doing the program, the money is spent on administration and who should get the ISP and who should get which traveling allowance and all the fandangers that comes with it. This money should not be spent on those things, but it should be spent on the implementation of the program. The fourth part of the program is volunteerism. We in Jamaica knows that the success of our track and field program is grounded in volunteerism. Thousands of volunteers each year to make our track and field program the envy of the world. And I said, at the last World Championship, we were third on the medal table. And I can stand here and boast that we have the fastest woman alive in the world and the fastest man alive in the world. If we have such a template, why Cricket West Indies and the regional boards are not copying the template, the structure, the system? There's great joy to come from volunteerism. As you would know, I have volunteered to go around to primary schools for the past 2 months and teach them, introduce cricket to them, more or less introduce cricket. As I go around to these primary schools and volunteer, and these programs cost these schools absolutely nothing. There are 3 things that stick with me as I go around to these schools. The first one that sticks with me, and when you volunteer, you will experience this also, is that I get to interact with a number of beautiful, young, bright, educated teachers in our school system. They are witty, their minds are sharp, and it's a fun to interact with them. You benefited from that interaction. Two Thursdays ago, not this last Thursday, as I was wrapping up a program at a particular primary school, I invited 2 umpires to umpire a game for me. And after the match, as we were sitting on one of the lazy bench under a tree, and as the northeast trade wind gushed across our face, the young, beautiful principal stepped from her office with all the grace and poise of a confident, sophisticated, intelligent lady and walks toward us to tell us thanks. And the 2 umpires seeing her for the first time, I could hear the collective breath, deep intake of breath. I have to hand them a bottle of water as their knees buckled as this beautiful lady walks towards them. The second thing about volunteering in these primary schools is that you see the enthusiasm of the children. You see that they love cricket. You see that children want to learn cricket. These boys and girls, they made their own bats and they compete to see who makes the prettiest bat. And when you are in those schools, the principals and the teachers have a challenge controlling the students who are not at cricket because everyone wants to come to cricket. That's the next benefit of volunteerism. You see for yourself that there's hope in West Indies cricket. You see the excitement of the students. And the third thing about volunteerism, when you're out on that field with these students, the energy that they give to you, you do so much work on that field, you feel young, you feel energized, you strive off the energy of these little boys and girls because they push you. They allow you to do 30, 40,000 steps when you check your phone at the end of the evening. And that's one of the benefits of the volunteerism. The undiluted love and enthusiasm and energy that these children bring. So I'm encouraging every one of you in this community. For the next year, spend at least 6 days, volunteer to introduce and teach cricket in our primary or basic schools. Please, it doesn't have to be 6 consecutive days, but each one of you hearing my voice, please volunteer at least 6 days for next year to teach, introduce cricket to children in our basic schools. So one, Cricket West Indies need to collaborate with training institutions like GC Foster College to produce quality cricket coaches and PE teachers. 2, Cricket West Indies and the regional boards need to appoint cricket officers to introduce, implement, and sustain interest and competitiveness among our basic school children. 3, Cricket West Indies should use $1 million of the money that they'll be getting from the ICC each month to implement this program. And 4, we all need to volunteer our time and introduce cricket to our basic school children. Thank you for listening to me. I may be a bit boring, but those are my suggestions to touch the grassroots level. Good morning, all. Welcome to the show. Desmond Ains, please stay on point. Good morning. I am watching from Nevis. What is the topic? Cricket West Indies and the 6 regional boards need to follow the template of the Jamaica track and field program to introduce and sustain cricket at the grassroots level and grow the program. Jamaica track and field program is the envy of the world. We have the fastest woman alive. We have the fastest man alive. At the last World Championship, we were 3rd on the medal table. Our track and field program starts at the basic school level, through to the prep school, through to the high schools, the tertiary institutions, and to the world stage. And the program has more to it than that. But I'm saying that there's a template there for Cricket West Indies to follow. We don't need to reinvent the wheel because there's nothing new under the sun. Proper show host, the topic is very important. Thank you for that, Juna Benjamin. Just admit the fact that cricket is not big in Jamaica. Cricket population is 2.828. Sherwin, I am not going down the road of pessimism today. Come up with a solution. Tell me how we can grow cricket at the grassroots level this morning. Not down that road of pessimism. This morning, we're along the road of optimism. And we can say all we want about the faults and the issues of West Indies cricket. But there comes a time when we need to knock our head and find solutions if we need to move Cricket West Indies programs forward. If we need to bring back the passion and the love and the skill and the desire and for Cricket West Indies to return to the glory days, Sherwin, this morning is not about pessimism. It is not about blame, but it's about finding solution to move Cricket West Indies forward, to move our cricket forward. Do not come to me this morning with your pessimism. I will take none of it. We are going forward and we must find solution to our cricket situation. The pessimism must be thrown out of the door as we move forward. Good morning. Good morning, Felix. Cricket Forum, blessings from Grenada. Thank you. What do you think about coming together and making a supporters group? Good suggestion, Bobby Buns. We need to do that. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Let's keep the fire burning, and there comes a time when we must be optimistic. I want to thank the partner, the official partner of the Cricket Forum, One Win. And please register with One Win and have fun playing the games of One Win. When you register and make your first deposit, put in the code the Cricket Forum 101 TCF and get a 500% bonus on your first deposit. Wanted to thank One Win for being our official partner. I thank you all for contributing as we look forward to move West Indies cricket forward. My good friend Sherwin, I know he will support us, continue to support us. But this morning is about optimism. We need to do more to introduce kids to cricket in Jamaica. And one of that could simply be trying to get cricket back on TVJ or CVN. So kids should see it and love it again. Mr. Casanova, why that? Is a good suggestion. My suggestion to you, Mr. Casanova, and all of us who listen, is to do our part. And I'm encouraging you, Mr. Casanova, volunteer some days in the next year. 6 days. That's 1 day every 2 months. 1 day every 2 months to introduce cricket to some basic school children. Do this, Mr. Casanova. Do this, Christopher Bristol. Do this, Sherwin. All of you who are listening to me, volunteer 1 day every 2 months over the next year to introduce cricket to some basic school children. Please, that is my cry to you this morning. Cricket West Indies have their part to play. And I do hope they take on board some of my suggestions. But I ask you this morning, do your part. Volunteer. 1 day every 2 months for the next year. And introduce cricket to some basic school children. Some tennis ball cricket. Some very, very lightweight bats. Do your part. Do your part. Brother, you really promote local talent and highlights lots of the stuff. Big, big respect for that. Thank you, Christopher Bristol. Thank you, Benjamin. How your curry goat match went. We lost the match, they bowled us out for little and nothing, and they hit it off without losing a wicket. I came not out again. We have to make cricket free to play by investing in gears. You don't need gears for T and F. Sheldon, you are so wrong. You are so wrong that you don't need gears for T and F. You are far, far off the mark. You have no idea of what goes into a track and field program. Tennis ball and some very light bat is cheaper than the gears for track and field. Introducing cricket to basic school children costs little or nothing. Little or nothing. All you need is a dozen tennis ball and some very light bat. Some very, very light bat. What you need to introduce cricket to basic school children is cheaper than a spikes. It's cheaper than a spikes. Sheldon, you know nothing, and you're my good friend, but you know nothing what goes on in a track and field program. If you are saying that it is cheaper to do track and field than cricket. MS, unfortunately, the passion is to start with the benefits. I am trying to think of something else positive, but the reality is money. Yes, MS, and that's where volunteerism comes in. Because the track and field program in Jamaica, as glorified as it is, it requires a lot of volunteerism. And when you start somewhere and there's a structure, right now, Jamaica track and field programs like Boys and Girls Champs, lining up to sponsor it. And not only Jamaican and Caribbean conglomerates, but world conglomerates want a piece of champs. I said again, starting cricket at the basic school level will require a lot of volunteerism, and it is not expensive. Cricket West Indies must do their part. The regional boards must do their part. And they must take the lead, and the money is coming for them to introduce it. And I'm saying we can move the cricket forward by starting at the basic school level. The Jamaica Track and Field program is there. The Inter-Secondary School Sports Association of Jamaica has the template. Why can't we follow that template for cricket? Why? I don't think it is that difficult. It's not that difficult. I don't get the pessimism from people who watch West Indies cricket every day. We just need to put in the work. I am actually excited about rebuilding the cricket. Thank you, Bobby Buns, my good friend Sheldon. You don't run in spikes early on, with the greatest of respect, sir. Thank you, Sheldon. You may not run in spikes early on, but these children, they still run in sneakers. They still running spikes. But I'm saying to Sheldon, compare a tennis ball, 12 tennis balls, and with some very light. If you look on Amazon right now, you can get a bat for $10 or less. Right now on Amazon. You can get 20 tennis balls for $10 or less. Check it out on Amazon. What we need to do is to volunteer. Volunteer and introduce the cricket to the basic school children. I am telling you, if you do this one day, you will feel so satisfied at the end of that day. You will want to do it again and again and again. Thank you all for tuning in. Please click on that link in the video description and register with One Win, the official partner of the Cricket Forum. Thank you all for being here. Have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from Sherwin and Sheldon and all the wonderful members of this community. Please volunteer one day every 2 months to teach some basic school children cricket. Not to teach them, introduce it. If you go ahead and teach them, they may become very bored. You just need to introduce it to them. Let them have fun. Let them eat some ball. Let them throw some balls. Thank you all. Have a great day. One love, and God bless.